Okay, guys, good evening and you are welcome. I'm so sorry that the link we shared earlier was showing 7:30. So I believe some of us planned for that 7:30. So sorry about that. This is GST101, Use of English and Communication Skill, Part 1. We've started the course, we've talked about listening. Apart from that, we have talked about why we listen. Then we moved on to things we listen to. And then we talked about the skills we need to listen. If you are joining, just give the video a thumbs up before you open the chat. The things we listen to, why we listen, what is listening, who is a listener. We also talked about listening enabling skills. And of course, I think that was where we stopped last week. We've done listening enabling skills. So you know what each of those skills represent and what they are meant to do. So as a form of introduction to the class tonight, I would like to ask us a question to remind us the listening enabling skills that we have. So I have a question in the chat box. I want every one of you to attempt it. Yes, what is the answer to that? What is the meaning of F in the listening enabling skills we have? We said we can use the name of the short form, which is FC triple A, to hold them. So how do we use that to hold them? Mm, yes, I am waiting patiently for your responses. Yes, let's have it. Okay, I'm seeing comedy apps saying we are functioning, yes. Okay. Also, Jesse Emmons, yes. Functioning, yes, yes. Comedy hub says the C is concentration. Don't say somebody else say what you want to say. Say your own. No. Concentration, yes. What is the first A? Yes, I'm waiting for you guys. Okay, we have ability to think along with the speaker coming in. Okay, okay. It's only comedy helps that is here tonight. Okay, ability to anticipate what the speaker is about to say. Okay, okay. What of the last A? I don't like the performance tonight. Are you guys here? It's only comedy hub gents that is here tonight. Every other person, they are not here. You were asked to give us the full meaning of FC triple A under listening and enabling skills. We've done that last week, and we use that to hold the 5 listening enabling skills that we have, or that we at least treated in this material. We said F, we have C, we have triple A. Now, you guys, to recall it is an issue. I know most of you are not chatting, you are not responding because you don't know the answer. Somebody has given you all the answers already. Functioning ears, concentration, ability to think along with the speaker, ability to anticipate what the speaker is about to say next, ability to, of course, notice important signpost in the speech or lecture. You guys should not just be attending the class for fun. No, Biko, you are not doing yourself any good. It's better you don't waste your data. If you will not be following the class seriously and then getting the best out of the class. Well, that is all on Unit 1. Now we are starting Unit 2 tonight with the topic that says listening and comprehending. We are looking at two major things in this particular heading. Let me try to, break it down a bit. Okay. As a form of introduction to what we are having tonight. Um, okay. What is happening here? This my network is very, very poor. I hope you guys can see me. Sorry, can hear me. Yes, you're welcome, Dami. This network is not encouraging. Don't even know if it's network or my PC. Which one of them? Okay, listening and comprehending. That's what I said we're having tonight. And of course, under this topic, we will talk about relationship between listening and comprehending. We'll also talk about listening comprehension and also factors that affect comprehension. But before we go into anything deep, I want us to critically look at what we have tonight. Can someone tell me the simplest definition or a synonym for the word comprehend? Let's start from the version of that version that says comprehend. Let's leave comprehending first. That is a continuous thing. Let's talk about comprehend. What is the synonym of the word comprehend, or what is the meaning of the word comprehend in your own understanding? I think I will mention the answer. So, what do you think is the? We talk about comprehension or comprehend. What are we trying to say in a simple time? To understand. Thank you for those that are here. Comprehend means to understand. Thank you. That means people are following. Now let's look at this very simple example before we even go deep into anything. This unit is a practical one. And why is it a practical one? That is because we listen every day. Every day you find yourself listening. What you are doing right now is listening. But listening doesn't automatically mean somebody understands what they listen to. A person can actually hear what you are saying. You may be talking to someone and the person hears every word you said during this conversation and still don't understand your message. So somebody can be there with you live, hearing everything you are saying, but not understanding you. Let me give you an example. If after the class tonight, I say, submit your assignment through the portal before 11:59 p.m. on Friday. Today is Wednesday. So I said, submit your assignment through the portal before 11:59 p.m. on Friday. Then all of you may reply, okay, sir. Now, let's say Friday night, one of you that attended the class and heard me said, submit your assignment through the portal before 11:59 p.m. on Friday, then came to my DM and said, sir, where am I submitting it again? It means that student actually heard me in the class, but did not understand my message. So, the main thing you should learn here is that when we're talking about listening comprehension, we are trying to say effective listening must lead to what? comprehension. Effective, what shows that what you've listened to just now, or what you listened to last week, or what you listened to yesterday, or what you are currently listening to, what shows that your listening is effective? That means you did that practice, that activity of listening, you did it very well. What will show that you did it very well is that you actually understand what you've listened to. So the listening will lead to understanding of whatsoever the person was actually saying when you were listening to the person. Now, as a form of introduction to this unit, we have a very simple introduction, which I will explain in my own time. In the previous unit, we've learned about who is a listener, why do people listen, and the skills that help effective listening: functioning ears, concentration, ability to think along with the speaker, ability to anticipate what the speaker is about to say next, ability to notice important signposts. Now, after you've understood that part, now this unit takes us a bit further, and the question we are to answer in this unit is: after listening, did you understand what was said? That's the question we are trying to answer in this unit that we are about to start tonight. So, after listening, did you understand what was said? Now, that is where the idea of comprehension comes in. So, what is listening? Again, let's try to bring ourselves to the definition once more. What is listening? We are trying to look at relationship now. So we'll say, what is listening? I'm asking you now a very short question. Let me hear from your side before I say anything. What is listening? Just put something in the chat box. What do you think listening is? What is listening according to you? Okay, nobody is here now. So anytime I ask question, you people disappear. Hey, do I even have people in the class tonight? This your class is so boring. I may not do any class with you again. No. Go and ask your senior. I hate boring class. Once your class is boring, I'll run away. People will not see me again. No. So, what is listening? Okay, I think Gen Z said listening is hearing to understand. Well, that's making sense. Beauty Essential says you listen to comprehend, and it's same as understanding. Jesse Ifenodu said listening is a day-to-day activity. Okay, you listen to understand. The Ikechukwu said listening is the ability to pay attention to what the speaker is saying. Listening means pay attention to any message being conveyed to you, and also have the ability to understand, excuse me, and act on it. Okay, that is Stella. All right, I think you people are warming up, and that makes sense. I love that. You people have an idea. But I would just say listening is a deliberate act or a deliberate process that entails, hearing, paying attention to, interpreting, and understanding spoken information. Listening is a deliberate attention, or sorry, a deliberate process or act, a deliberate process, which entails you to do the following, hear. First thing you have to hear. Don't forget that we said that the first step in listening is receiving. That means you have to hear it first. It's what you are hearing, the sound that is coming into your ears that you can actually process or listen to. So listening entails you hearing the first thing you have to hear, then you pay attention to what is coming in that you are hearing, you try to interpret it, and then understand the information. So listening is more than just receiving sound. If you're just receiving sound, we will just say you are hearing. You are actually hearing, you are not listening. So that is that on listening. We have tried to look at the meaning of listening. The topic said listening and comprehending. So we are combining two things together. We have looked at listening on its own now. It involves your ears hearing something or hearing a sound, paying attention to the sound, interpreting the sound, and understanding what the sound is actually saying. Then, what is comprehension? We've actually tried to do that earlier. So, comprehension means understanding the meaning of information. It's very simple. Comprehension just means for you to understand the meaning of an information or of information. So, if someone practically tells you that the examination previously scheduled for Monday has been shifted to Wednesday, you have to understand the statement. If you do understand that statement, you will know that the examination will no longer hold on Monday. You understand? When you say you understand, now the person said the examination previously scheduled for Monday has been shifted to Wednesday. I want us to take a critical look on that. If HOD should come to your class now and announce that the TMA, no, oh sorry, what did I put there? That is not what I want to put. Sorry about that. So, uh, if HOD should come and say this in the class, now you hear him saying it, but you have comprehended that statement if you understand that the examination will no longer hold on Monday, and also if you also understand that it will now hold on Wednesday. That is when you have both heard HOD and understood his message. The examination previously scheduled for Monday has been shifted to Wednesday. It makes sense, or you've actually comprehended it only when you now understand that this same examination they're talking about will no longer hold on Monday, but now on Wednesday. It's as simple as that. Okay, so we talk about hearing, listening, and comprehending. They are all different things. Hearing, listening, and comprehending, different things. They are all different things. So I am still trying to look at the relationship, between hearing, listening, and comprehending. And I'm very sure you people will. Okay, look at Samiat now, Omolabake. She's saying which examination, which means she's just in this class hearing. She's not understanding. I was giving an example, citing an example, and somebody is already asking which examination, which means she's already interpreting it to mean that maybe there is an exam in none that was supposed to hold on Monday that will now hold on Wednesday. So, Samiat, you are an example tonight of somebody in this class just hearing but not understanding. So, you have to adjust, shift your position, and become someone that is comprehending and not just hearing. So, now let's look at what we were going into. We want to look at hearing, listening, and comprehending, and we want to see the differences between them. I'm highlighting this part because that is the part that settles that matter. That is the part that settles that matter. This part settles that matter of hearing, listening, and comprehending. So, what can we say about them? So, let's assume we have three students sitting in one class. Let's say we have three students sitting in one class. Then the facilitator says GST101 examination starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. So students should arrive 30 minutes before the examination. Let me put this statement down in the chat box so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Assuming we are in a class and we have three students present in that class. And then the facilitator says this. Look at, I've quoted the facilitator in your chat box there. GST101 examination start at 8 o'clock a.m. Students should arrive 30 minutes before the examination. Now, that is the information passed by the facilitator. Many of you have not given my video a thumbs up. That is not good. Go and like the video. Now, let's say student A. We said we have 3 students in the class. Student A, upon hearing what the teacher says, student A is just a hearer. He only hear what the facilitator just finished, throwing out of his mouth. So let's say student A now is just a hearing student. He hears the lecturer's voice, but he's busy pressing his phone. So he knows somebody was talking. That one is mainly what? Hearing. Inside of him, he felt like someone just finished saying something there, but he is not concentrating. His mind is not there. He was pressing his phone. He was hearing a sound coming from the class. So he actually heard someone talking, because he's not deaf. He's not deaf. So that is a hearing student. If a typical example is Samiat. Samiat is just a hearing student. Now, another student is in that class, student B, who is a student that is listening. So student B pays attention and hears. He hears that exam 8 o'clock a.m. arrive early. That is what the student B that was only listening. So student B was listening, and as student B was listening, student B was able to hear exam. He also heard 8 o'clock, and then he had arrive early. That is all he heard. His own did not pass that one. So that is a student that is listening. Student B was listening. So student C, the one that is comprehending, what is his own level? Student C that is comprehending, that means that is understanding. Is not only hearing, is not only listening, but is comprehending. The exam starts at 8 o'clock, so I should be there by 7:30. He has listened and comprehended. So student C did not only, you see, the thing is very funny. You can't actually comprehend if you have not listened, if you have not heard. So it's like comprehension is just the bottom of it. You must hear first, then combine listening to what you are hearing, and then finally process it and understand it before you actually comprehend what they are saying. So why student A only heard that somebody was talking, but did not even know what the person said. Student B, who was listening, actually heard what the person said, but he was able to pick out exam 8 o'clock and then arrive. But the student C, who was comprehending what the lecturer was saying, of the facilitator was saying, actually understand that this man says exam is starting by 8 o'clock, and he encouraged us to arrive early, at least 30 minutes earlier, before the commencement of the exam. Which means, if I should interpret what the man is saying, the man is actually saying, if the exam start by 8 o'clock, then I should come by 7:30. That is a student that understands. You've critically analyzed what the speaker has just finished saying. So the process is from hearing to listening, then to understanding, or you call it comprehension. Now, what are the objectives we have in this unit? Let's quickly go back to our objectives and try to understand objectives. Let's try to understand our objectives, because you probably will be missing a lot if you don't know what we are here to do. At the end of this unit, we should be able to explain the relationship between listening and comprehension, demonstrate how to comprehend spoken information, and also identify factors that affect comprehension. So in other words, by the end of this lesson, we should be able to listen, be able to understand, and also identify what can improve or disturb your understanding of what you are listening to. That is the simplest way of putting our objectives. At the end of this unit, you should be able to listen, you should be able to understand, then you should be able to identify the things you will be doing, or you may be doing, that to improve your listening, your understanding, or the things that will disturb your understanding. So what is the relationship between listening and comprehension? Now we want to study some, boyfriend, some kind of boyfriend and girlfriend thing. Now, relationship between the man listening and the girl comprehending. Listening is a man, comprehension is a lady. So what joins this man listening to this woman comprehending? That's what we want to study tonight. At least if I use something like that, I know you people will understand, because some of you, all you think all your life is your boyfriend and girlfriend. So it's better to bring those kind of things into our teaching, so you better understand what we are saying. Now, in the material here, we have that, you listen to comprehend, and you comprehend while listening. That is the simplest way the material has put it. What is the relationship between listening and comprehension, or comprehending? According to your material, it's very short. The relationship between them is that you listen to comprehend, and you comprehend while listening. So, uh, you listen to comprehend, and you comprehend while listening. So mm, let's take an icebreaker. Let's take an icebreaker. It's very important. I want us to take an icebreaker. I think somebody is complaining of something there. I'm actually not understanding you. Don't tell me to what's her name? That is asking which exam. So you listen to Dash, and you comprehend while listening. So that is the icebreaker I have for you guys while I continue my explanation. So we are looking at a boyfriend and a girlfriend listening and comprehending. Now let's take an example. So I think the material is very clear about this. You listen to comprehend, and you comprehend while listening. Now imagine you are listening to Google Maps while driving. Let me give you an example, a very good example that some of you like, or you're actually used to. Some of you, when you are traveling, you always like to turn on, even if you are not the one driving, you always turn on the Google Map, so you'll be following how many hours left to where we are going, how far have we gone, what's actually happening on the road, and all those stuff. Now, assuming, or just imagine that you are listening to Google Maps while driving, and the voice says, at the next junction, turn right. At the next junction, turn right. If you hear the sound but turn left, then listening has failed to achieve its purpose. So the purpose was not merely for you to hear turn right. The purpose was for you to understand and act correctly. So listening without comprehension has little value. If you are listening but you are not understanding what you are doing, you are just, the value is very little. So the Google Map says turns right. It's not only for you to be romancing with the sweet voice of the Google Map AI. It's actually for you to act on what the Google Map is actually saying. So it said turns right, but you are so carried away with the voice, so you turn left. You are doing something wrong. So that is not listening to comprehend. So you are not doing it right. To actually listen and understand, you have to act accordingly. So we have different levels of listening and comprehension. You know, this material is very sweet. It informs us of the different styles and ways in which you can listen. You mention things like superficially, listen superficially, and you can listen, Now, but let's look at it critically, a form of explanation. So we do not listen to everything with the same amount of attention. You know, Sometimes we listen casually, other times we listen intensely, and we need to know that so that you don't give the same energy of listening to everything you are hearing. That will cost you a lot if that is what you do, because you now learned from this class now that the purpose of listening is for you to understand, and you must listen attentively, you must do this. So everything they are not saying, even when they are gossiping, you will not listen attentively because you want to understand gossip. You're actually wasting your time. So what are casual, or what do you call casual listening? When does your listening uh qualifies to be a casual one? Now, casual listening means listening mainly for the general idea or major point. You are not trying to remember every word the person is saying. You just want to understand the general idea. You just want to get the general idea of what that person is saying. That is listening for casual, for the casual sense. So, please excuse me. So, the casual listening, you just want to get the general idea or what we call major point. That is what we call casual listening. Now, let's take an example of casual listening, or the kind of listening that your material says superficial, the superficial one. Now, suppose you enter a room and the television news is playing, and you hear from the news, from the television, that the government announced that schools will reopen next Monday following the conclusion of the holiday. The government announced that schools will reopen next Monday following the conclusion of the holiday. Now, you may later remember only they said schools are reopening next Monday. That may be the only thing you remember, that schools are reopening next Monday. You may not remember the reporter's name, every sentence the reporter used to give that news, or even the supporting details the reporter used in explaining the news. All you remember is they said that schools are reopening next Monday. That is casual listening or superficial listening. Let's take another example. Let's assume your friend send you a 5 minute voice note. Some of your friends are always emotional. You ask them, how far have you eaten? Then you see voice note 3 minutes. Before you even play it, you'll be wondering, what would this person say in 3 minutes? Just have you eaten? Girls like doing that with their boyfriend. If you just ask them one simple question, then they will send a voice note that shows you, they will give an epistle in that voice note, just to feel give for you to pity them. Now, when you see 5 minute voice notes from your friend, mm, let's assume you are actually listening to the voice note, or you've listened to it just once. You've ended you from beginning. You've listened to it for that 5 minutes, and somebody asks you, what did the person say? Maybe you have another friend in your parlor there, and the person said, uh, what did the person say? You say, what did the person say? You may just say that he basically complained about her school fees, or probably she said that she has not eaten. Is that the only thing the person have said in that 5 minutes? No. But you just capture the main idea of everything, just like you summarize what the person is saying. That is superficial listening or casual listening. You've just summarized, of all the 5 minutes, complain and everything the person was giving in the voice note. Your main concern is, what is the main thing? What really do you want? What is happening? And you picked it. That is all. Now we have the intense, listening, which is the second part. We have the intense listening, which is, you know, I'm not sure the person is our student. The person is now our student. I think we have some erroneous member that will join the class. Uh, we have an erroneous member. Don't worry, I know what to do. I know what to do. Uh, since the person is actually, let's try to put the person, let's sideline the person so the person don't, you know, discourage others. Hmm. All right, so let's get to business. Now, what? Okay, we're actually on the second type of listening, which is the intensive or intense listening. Intensive or intense listening. Now, sometimes the information is very important, so you must concentrate carefully and remember details. That is what we mean by intensive listening, where especially when you are reading for exam. Let's take an example. Imagine a lecturer say or a facilitator says your examination will hold on 24th August at 9 o'clock in the morning in hall C. Bring your ID card, examination slips, and writing materials. In this kind of listening, you should not just listen casually because it is something about exam. That's what we're trying to say. There is difference between your friend that sends voice note of 5 or 10 minutes discussing irrelevant thing, and a lecturer that gives you the details of your examination. The way you listen to the two will be different. Is that one is even it's not something you should be told. Why? This one is something about exam. So you need details. You need the details like the date, 24th August, the time, 9 o'clock, the venue, hall C, the things you need, your ID card, examination slips, writing materials. For you to grab those details, it requires intensive listening. Intensive listening. Now let's try to compare the two, casual listening and intensive listening. For casual listening, we use it for general idea, when you just want to get general idea. Intensive listening, you need the detailed information. For casual listening, you are less concerned, so you pay less concentration. For intensive listening, you pay high concentration. In casual listening, you are just looking for the major point. In intensive listening, you need both the major point and the minor point. So you use less. Sorry, casual listening are used for less important information, while the intensive one for most or very important information. So those are the things we can bring out from the two types of listening as identified in the material. And I have one last thing to test you guys about here in this particular place before we move to something serious. So we have a class there, sorry, an assignment there. Let's quickly go through it, please. Yes, another icebreaker there. Another icebreaker, yes. Yes, what are people saying? Flexibility. Okay, that means we are following. That makes sense. Now let's take an example. Let's imagine you are just maybe passing by or you are sitting down. Somebody just said, There was an accident on Lagos Ibadan Express Road oh. It involves three vehicles around 7:30 a.m. Traffic officials arrived shortly afterwards. Somebody just echoed that or said that. Now, if I ask casual listening question, you know, what happened? The answer will be there was an accident. Like if somebody listened to that statement, okay, let's assume HOD just came into the group now and said, or probably were on a voice call, and he just said there was an accident on Lagos Ibadan Express Road though. It involved three vehicles around 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Traffic officials, arrived shortly afterwards. Now, if somebody, let's assume that Aisha Umar listened to that casually. So when JC Hermans, comes to the group after that and ask what did HOD said earlier. Aisha that listened to the thing casually. No, it's not Aisha. Let me know it's Aisha. Where is that my friend that is not listening very well? What's her name again? Is it Dorothy or what? I can't really remember her name. Okay, she's my friend now in this class. So uh, let's assume that Aisha asked Samiat. She asked Samiat, what did HOD say earlier? And then Samiat, who is just a casual listener, will say, oh, this accident occurred or an accident happened. That is what Samiat will say. Okay, now, what if we have Ikechukwu Florence, who is an intensive listener? If you should ask, if, what is her name? Ikechukwu Florence will ask a question as somebody who listen intensively. She will ask more than just what happened. She will ask where did it happen? How many vehicles were involved? What time did it happen? Now, that one is trying to get more details. It's not just somebody that say what happened. What happened is just for casual understanding. So that is that. All right. So let's talk about flexibility in listening. I've asked you guys a question earlier. So we said flexibility in listening and comprehension is very important. What does that mean? It means you should know where and when to use what type of listening method. You should know when this information requires intensive listening and use it there. And you should know when the information being passed is just something you should listen to casually and then listen casually. So not that where you are supposed to listen with intensive listening, you will now listen casually. That is the meaning of flexibility, being able to switch based on the type of speech or information you are trying to listen to. So ability to adjust your level of attention according to the importance of the information being passed is what we call flexibility in listening. Flexibility in listening is the ability to adjust your level of attention according to the importance of what you are listening to or of the information. That is what we mean by flexibility. Now, I want to give you guys a scenario, and I want you guys to answer if the kind of listening that will that will be needed there, if the kind of, and the topic is maybe my favorite football club. Mm, okay, that is the question. Let's say somebody is discussing. Let's say HOD is discussing with who is a guy here. Let's say Abdurrahman, and they're discussing about my favorite football club. What type of listening HOD employ there? Or what kind of listening should Abdurrahman employ there? Is it casual listening or intensive listening? Both of them are discussing their favorite football club. What kind of listening? What kind of listening? Ah, Mary said intensive listening. I've seen people that will match together today or tonight. So I have Mary, Igwe Mary. So any boy or sorry, any guy that fucked up, I will match the guy to Igwe Mary. So we have couples tonight. That is how I'll be, connecting you guys. All of you that you want to remain Olodo in the class, I will be joining Olodo plus Olodo. So by the time they want to give birth, they will give birth to another Olodo. So now I have triple Olodo in one family. So I have a wife on ground now. Let me just catch one husband that I will give to this wife. Ah, thank God. So we have Ibrahim. Ibrahim is here. I'm joining Ibrahim to Igwe Mary. Both of them said the kind of listening that HOD and his friend will need to employ is the one we call intensive listening. And I disagree with them. So, and every one of you that are saying intensive listening, we are going to do mass wedding. All of you, I dash you to Ibrahim. Ibrahim is the only guy that have said intensive listening. So all the ladies that said intensive listening, congratulations for your wedding tonight. And Ibrahim, congratulations on your many wives. So when HOD and his friend are discussing about their favorite football club, the kind of listening needed there is casual listening. What did they want to achieve with the favorite football club? That one is just a casual, you just need to listen casually there. Don't worry, I'll give you guys many examples tonight, which you must answer. So don't think you will run away. So that is that. Now let's take another example. Let's say your doctor is explaining, giving you medication. Take this medicine twice daily after meals. What kind of listening do you need in that kind of situation? Your doctor is prescribed or actually explaining something to you. Take this medicine twice daily after meals. What kind of listening do you need there? Is it intensive or casual listening? Yes, let's catch some other people that will join together here. Let's catch some other husband and wives. If your doctor is explaining, take this medicine twice daily after meals, what kind of listening do you need in that kind of situation? Okay, Aisha Umar said intensive. Esther Fatoke, intensive. Now we have brilliant people here. We have brilliant people here. Philip Antonia, intensive. Okay, I think you guys are not getting the picture. The picture is not clear to you guys. So we also have some, exercise here or exercises. So listen to passage 2.1 title course requirement casually and bring out 3 major points. Well, let me just use another thing to do that. We don't have that time. You can do that on your own. You can do that on your own. So the next two we'll be going into is in fact, comprehension is more than getting all the words or expression. So this is the next thing we are going into. Okay, but let's quickly finish that. I don't think we have more time. So what are the let me just, I think I've gone to the exercise. I will just give you guys the important thing to learn from the exercise. So the same audio passage can produce different levels of comprehension, depending on how carefully you listen to that same audio. So if you are just listening for the casual listening, they ask you what was the audio about, you can just say it's just a media course. But somebody listening carefully, intensively, The person will be able to identify at least 20 specific expressions used in the audio. So that is it. So comprehension is more than remembering words that somebody has spoken. So it is another, sorry, this is another very important point you should note. So let's assume I say that inflation has resulted in a decline in the purchasing power of consumers. Now, if you repeat that word over time and you keep saying it, like somebody said it now, and then you keep saying it, you are just extruding it like you want to know it. You want to know it off hands or anything. Now, if after you said it several times, I ask you, what does it mean? And you say, sir, I don't know. But you have been repeating it. You have been saying inflation has resulted in a decline in the purchasing power of consumers. Inflation has resulted in a decline in the purchase. When I ask you, what does it mean? You say you don't know. Have you comprehended? No. You are only remembering the words. You remember the words, but you don't understand it. So that's what I'm trying to tell you from that exercise. So the real comprehension we are talking about means understanding the meaning of what you have listened to. Understanding meaning of what you have listened to. So if somebody listened to that same statement and understood it, well, we say the person can say that, oh, what they're actually trying to say is that when prices rise, the same amount of money can buy fewer goods. So, for example, now this is somebody that understands that same single statement is what the person is still explaining. The person starts by saying, oh, what that statement means is that when prices rise, the same amount of money you used to buy something before will now purchase fewer things. And let me give you an example. For instance, you have 5,000 naira, and before you go to the market, you buy rice, oil, meat, tomato, and everything, and you enjoy your life and even buy 5 alive. But today, because of inflation, 5,000 can only buy rice and tomatoes. So every other thing will not come in. Why? Inflation. So if somebody is able to say this from that single statement, that means that person understands what they are saying. It's different from the person that just know the words, that can repeat what has been said, but don't have the understanding. So general knowledge helps your comprehension. General knowledge helps your comprehension. This is where we hang the boot tonight. General knowledge helps your comprehension. That is why you guys should try to learn. You see, let me tell you one secret about non-exam. I'm not saying this to discourage anybody from reading or from studying. You are basically studying not because of exam, but because you want to be able to defend your certificate after graduation. But the nature of e-exam, you will be deceiving yourself to think is by reading everything in the material that you are going to pass. I told you guys that there is something they normally ask every semester on suffixes and prefixes, which is not in the material, but they expect you guys to know it because it's a general knowledge. So most of the questions you will likely answer in those your 70 questions or in those your 100 questions, if it's a 3-unit course, most of them are not exact. Why? About 80% of the questions you answer are from the material. But general knowledge are also tested. In fact, if you are somebody that is good in general knowledge, even without, let me tell you something about myself. When I used to do e-exam, then I mean, no, don't copy me. Our brain, we have different brain. No, don't copy me. I hardly read for any exam, especially e-exam, because the first one I read and read and read and read for that disappointed me. I entered exam hall, I think I scored 34 in my first exam. So I was not like, what's the meaning of reading? Because when I checked all the questions, I saw what they were asking. Even my general knowledge, without reading, will still give me that 34. So since that day, I stopped reading. And I won't lie to you guys. I don't even used to spend that 1 hour they used to give. I've done the exam of 2 minutes before. And I submitted, I think I got 27 or so. I get that. In 2 minutes, I answered 70 questions. Why? That is my own method. Don't copy me. We are different. You may not have enough general knowledge like I do. So what we are trying to say here is that general knowledge helps your comprehension, so that you know that uh, uh, maybe you are not even a science student, but you know the law of inertia, you know that you know the law of gravity, you know how to connect a socket, you know how to. When you have general knowledge, it helps you a lot in anything you are doing, including the exam, because there are some questions you will read that common sense, even when you've not read your material on that topic, common sense will tell you that this is the answer. So general knowledge helps comprehension. And even the course material, make that statement. Say the more familiar you are with the topic, the easier it is for you to understand it. Another way of explaining this is that when you probably you let's say someone is trying to teach you something about maybe how to which example can I use? Oh, okay, hold on. Let's assume I tell a computer science student that the server returned a 404 error because the requested route was unavailable. A computer science student will understand that statement quickly. But if I tell a mass comm student, or let's say a computer science student visits a site and the site shows error 404, instead of showing what is supposed to be on the site, then the site return error 404. Now, because the student is a computer science student, he understands what that means. But somebody that is not a computer science student will say, you will now go to maybe they have the support number on that side, because hey, the site is not working, oh, it has crashed, oh, hey, and I want to check this thing, oh, the thing is not working. Why? Because he doesn't understand what error 404 means. But if, for a computer science student, you see the student will just chill because he knows what is happening. Why? General knowledge. That's what we're trying to say. So a student that don't know what error 404 means and saw something like because the requested route was unavailable, the student may say, which road is the route? That is very funny though. If be asking you that, in fact, another student may say, why is error 404 there? What is the meaning of root there? Well, because they don't have the general knowledge that support that idea. So let's say a football commentator rather, sorry, says that the striker was caught offside before receiving the throw ball. Now, somebody that loves football and have always been watching football, that thing I've just said now, they understand it. Receiving the throw ball. So a lover of football, he understands that instantly. Instantly, they understand that. But somebody, let's say grandma or your mom, she has never watched ball her life. Caught by who? You said the person was caught by who? You know, the thing will sound funny, but it's because they don't have general knowledge that supports the information you are passing. So students, what we're trying to say is that every avenue where you have to learn something or you have an opportunity to learn something, learn. There is no knowledge that is wasted. Learn, because the more general knowledge you have or you accumulate, the better your performance, even in exam. See, there are so many secrets to passing no exam than just reading and reading and reading, but nobody will tell you. But I think some of you will discover it yourself after your first exam. I only pray that you will do well in your TMA, so that your first exam, when you fuck up there, by the time you start adjusting and learning the real thing now, it will not affect your grades. So background knowledge helps your understanding. That is the summary of what we are saying. Background knowledge helps your understanding. Oh, I promise you guys that we are going to do prefixes and suffixes today. How do we do that? This class itself has consumed a lot of time, and because it's an interesting class. So I think what will happen is, hey, well, we still have time actually. I really want us to do even that prefix and suffixes. I want us to do it towards exam. Since we already know it will come out. So let's do it then. It's not even a topic we should rush now. So let's just end it here, because I have another class GS102 by 10. That should allow me to rest, even if it's 30 minutes before your senior will start their class. In the next class, we'll start from listening comprehension. Listening comprehension. That is another level. Then we'll talk about it extensively. We'll take practices and some other things. And I think I'll update some questions on your. Okay, somebody said e-learning portal. See, anything e-learning portal or anything, God will help you to solve it, because even the school self, they are tired of themselves. You know, anything, the thing you should understand is anything that is programming, internet, technical thing, they are always bound to have what we call glitches, errors, sometimes malfunctioning, and all. So that one is normal. So when you have any issue, raise it with them in the school, support portal, anywhere, they will resolve it for you. Is normal. And then on the issue of discussion forum or no discussion forum, anyone you open that did not open, leave it. They've just not open it. It's not that something is wrong with your own portal. Anyone you try to open, or anyone you see that discussion forum is even not showing at all, go to TMA and do your TMA. That is how non work. There are some courses that the facilitator don't have time to set discussion forum, so the TMA will open to you automatically. Once it's time, once is the date that TMA start, like this, you will be able to do the TMA. So that is another level. You will soon, don't worry, people will soon understand now. All those things, they are meant to be said by your facilitator. And then we have some facilitators that don't even have time for themselves. So they don't have time to be sitting down. And some of them don't even know how to use that e-learn portal to be setting discussion forum. So they will just use that, they will ignore it. They just let, oh, you guys should just go and do your TMA and do and get out. So the fact that a course doesn't have discussion forum and you're able to do the TMA, nothing is wrong. It's not an error, because I've seen so many people come to my DM. Sir, I think something is wrong with me. Oh, my portal, oh, TMA open, but there is no discussion for. It's not a must that you do discussion. The one that is there is a must you do it before TMA opens. But once it's not there, or it's there and it's not logged, or there is nothing there, the person did not even activate it, and TMA opens, please go ahead with your TMA. Nothing is wrong. So if your email is showing password is changed or something, just see, I think there is virtually nothing you may have as an issue in this your known that I have not done a video on how to resolve it on this my channel. Sometimes when you have any issue, first come to this non-solution channel on YouTube, search for the keywords that relate to the challenge you have. Come and search, you will see video that show you this is where you're supposed to go to complain, or this is what you're supposed to do to resolve it. That is what we mean by general knowledge. Somebody that is good now, that has general knowledge, there are some things that before they will come to the group to come and be asking questions, they would have done research. They would have gone to Google. My non-email is showing this, so Google will show them different solution. Okay, non-solution has ever released a video on this, watch this YouTube video. Or okay, based on different things we had in the past, this is what you're supposed to do. It's not that you just jump to. So you guys should learn to get general knowledge and use them very well. And for duplicate, for anything, all is just portal glitch. Don't worry, they are aware of it and they will work on it. But I would advise you, if you are in a hurry to do the TMA, do the TMA for the two of them, so that by the time they will remove one of them, it will not be the one that you've done the TMA that they will remove, and not leave the one that you've not done the TMA. You'll be thinking you've done the TMA before. So that is an advice. So thank you guys for attending the class tonight. And I think the class started very boring because people were not responding. But I think eventually we have done something nice tonight. See you guys next week.